Welcome to the Gorgeous Gray podcast. I am Nicole Scott, your host, registered holistic nutritionist, rest mindset coach, author of the Gorgeous Gray movement, and the co-creator of the Menopause Reset program. In this podcast, we have real conversations about aging as a woman and all the pressure and uncertainty we feel as we head into menopause and beyond. Let's face it, aging is not an easy conversation to have. But I say it's time to talk about the messy middle and offer hope when we feel like giving up on ourselves. Let's talk about our fears around gray hair, our muffin tops, and even our dry, itchy vaginas and everything in between. I will help you reconnect to your feminine energy and offer real solutions from experts in their field to navigate aging as a woman. I believe we, as women, deserve to shine even brighter in this next chapter of life. So with a sense of humor and a lot of compassion, let's dive into these vulnerable conversations. Hello, gorgeous gray women. It's Nicole Scott. I am going to be doing an episode today to talk about toxins. You'll probably see on my social feed, I've been talking a lot in the last month about toxicity and xenoestrogens and why it's important to detox. And I'll tell you the why behind why I do what I do. So back when I was 47, I discovered 2 lumps in my breasts. And that stopped me in my track. I still remember being in my naturopathic doctor's office. And I said, can you just feel these lumps? Do they feel weird? Do they feel different? And she felt them. And she said, I can't, tell you, oh my gosh, this is cancer. Oh my gosh, this is. But what I can show you is, and she brought down from her shelf a fake boob that was silicone and it had different lumps inside it. And so she was letting me feel like this is more cyst-like or fibrous, or this is cancer. Or it could be cancer. So I felt all of them. And she said, what do you think? And I just remember looking at her and it felt like the cancer one that she had pointed out. And I just remember almost holding back the tears, but she can't diagnose it, of course. So she said, I need you to go to your medical doctor immediately. And she wasn't available. So I went in to walk, and then there was a female doctor there that night. And she felt and got me in right away to get a scan and the potential of a mammogram. Now, I was trying to stay away from mammograms because I know that it is mixed reviews. So I got the first level of ultrasound to see what was going on. And I had to wait a week. I had to wait an entire week. And if you're a woman that has ever had to wait for the test results, there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of what if, what would I do if I got it? What would be my path, right? And it's almost like you can't focus. And that week I decided to go and ask some deep questions. Nicole, what in your life are you doing where more toxins are coming into your body that you could control or do a better job? It's almost like having a reality check with yourself. See, here I am as a holistic nutritionist. I went back to school in my early 30s when I had a sick kid and I wanted to heal her body. And it's almost like in your brain, you're like, well, I can get away with some stuff because I'm healthy. I'm a nutritionist. I eat well. I buy clean ingredients. But when you stop in this week and this moment where you're like, but how real, how are you being? It's almost like a checklist. Like, how real are you really being? Like, are you really digging in and figuring this stuff out? And I wanted to dig in. And when I went back to the books, this xenoestrogens kept on coming up. And xenoestrogens have specific estrogen-like effects in the body. And these harmful toxins imitate estrogen and can dramatically increase the toxic burden and estrogen dominant symptoms. And they're found in plastics, especially exposed to heat or cold, nail polish and polish removers, detergents and fabric softeners, perfumes and fragrances, bleached feminine hygiene products, fumes from new carpet, certain flooring, fiberboard, paint, dry cleaning, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, things that you store your food in, if it's plastic based, if you're using the microwave and using plastic, hair dye. So I was going in and diving into the books, and at the time I had also gotten a DNA test from the DNA company in Toronto, and I had learned that I am naturally prone to estrogen dominance. I also am not a good detoxer, and I tend to recycle my dangerous estrogen. So all of these pieces in the puzzle were starting to come together. I'm like, okay, you've got lumps in your breast, you're 47, you're estrogen dominant, you dye your hair every 2 weeks, maybe 3 if I push it. But even at that second week, I'm spraying chemicals and trying to hide my silver. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I wrote in my chapter, and I got this book. My first book, Get Naked with Your Natural Hair Color, was my first edition of the book. And I wrote in chapter 3, what's hiding in your hair dye. And I open it up with, don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. I'm going to read you a little bit from my chapter and dive into what I found in my hair dye, and then also go into some of the other things that I did to clean up and reduce my toxic load. I will let you know right away, so you're not waiting. Those lumps were non-cancerous, but it was exactly the wake-up call that I needed. So October 12, 2018 would be my last root touch-up forever. Let's go back to what happened that day. It was the usual quick in and out root touch-up. I felt the usual burn to the scalp, but this time I was more aware of the burn than ever. Why was it burning? What was in the dye that was causing me so much discomfort? Where in my body was that dye being absorbed? The toxic fumes filled my lungs with every breath I took, and I even noticed a slight burn in my eyes. Even 2 days after my touch-up, I was still feeling off. My head was fuzzy, and I had a headache, which I rarely ever get. My tongue had a toxic taste, which I noticed before, but this time it was different. I was tuned in. I was really paying attention to how I was feeling during and after my treatment. Were those symptoms always there? I asked myself. Did I really ignore them all those years of dyeing my hair? I was more aware than ever of my symptoms from the hair dye, and my inner voice was screaming at me, enough is enough. Nicole, you are smarter than this. You know your DNA weakness. You know that you're adding massive amount of toxins to your body every 3 weeks, and you know that you have the power to control it. What if? That was it. I made the decision right in the moment. No more. I was done with the root touch-ups forever. That gray sparkle was going to come, and I was going to welcome it. I was doing this for my health. I was finally going to listen to my body. So that's kind of the chapter that I open up, and you get a little bit more. I dive in a lot in the chapter about the side effects of hair dye, the over-processing, the allergies and death that have been documented to hair dye, which was kind of crazy. I had no idea. The links to asthma and hair dye, the links to cancer. I will read a little bit about this cancer. It says, when permanent hair dyes were first introduced, they contained chemicals, including some aromatic amines that were carcinogenic. In 1976, one study reported that 87 out of 100 breast cancer patients had been long-term hair dye users. Although the formulas were later altered to replace those chemicals, The debate as to whether hair dyes can cause cancer is very controversial. And then there's a lot of different studies that they document, that I've documented and found in regards to the risk of cancer causing. There's also warning labels on hair dye, which is very fascinating to me that most women would never read the warning labels. There is also, just hold on here, I want to just read here. There's the different hair dyes, but here's what I want to get to. What types of toxins are found in hair dye? Too many. The National Cancer Institute states that over 5,000 different chemicals are used in hair dye products. The Environmental Working Group has ranked over 450 hair colors in their Skin Deep database, and roughly 400 of them are considered a high hazard because they contain toxins linked to cancer, allergies, irritation of the eyes, skin, lungs, immunotoxicity, organ toxicity, developmental and reproductive toxicity, and neurotoxicity. That's your brain, ladies, and that makes sense because we're putting those chemicals right on our scalp. And more specifically, on the box of your hair dye product at home or in the dyes used at your salon, you may find the following toxic ingredients. So I list them here, but some of them is the and I probably can't even pronounce them because they're big words, but I think this one is called PPD in short. And then there's another one that's called tetrahydro 6. Both of these have been shown to damage genetic material and cause cancer in animals. There's a methaparaben. It causes endocrine disruption, which I had mentioned before, allergies and immunotoxicity. Ammonia, a chemical that can irritate the skin, nose, throat, respiratory system, and eyes. Peroxide can cause serious skin, eye, and lung and irritation, immune issues, and allergies. The fragrance that we find in the hair dye is associated with cancer, immunotoxicity, neurotoxicity, and allergies. Coal tar, a known carcinogen. And then, I can keep on going on. Formaldehyde, a preservative linked to cancer, developmental and reproductive toxicity, and more. So why did I write this book? Why did I want to bring this to women's attention? I felt a calling. I felt brave enough. I felt I had to kind of like let it out of the box, let the truth be told. And I'll be honest with you, back in my 30s, I remember this was me going to school. This was me, learning about toxicity and xenoestrogens, and hair dye did come up in my school. But I was like, I can get, away with it because I'm going to, eat healthy and have a healthy lifestyle. It's not going to impact me. And I remember one day rinsing off a box of hair dye in my bathroom, and I was in my shower, and I remember watching the chemicals like literally run down my naked body. And in that moment, I was like, Nicole, what are you doing? Your skin is your largest organ. You're literally putting these toxins in your body. Why? For what? For vanity, for like, I don't want to look older than my age, and it's amazing what we risk. It's almost like Russian roulette. I mean, if you don't know your DNA, if you don't know you're, not a good methylator, if you're not a good detoxer, the higher the risk for disease. So I didn't know that back in my 30s, what my risk factors were. I didn't get my DNA testing probably till I was 46 or 47. So as a woman, I would advise you to go get your DNA done and studied so that you know where your weaknesses are in your body, because it definitely is a behavior modificator, let me tell you. So Other things that I did when I realized that I had these lumps in my breasts in that week is I remember going up to my bathroom. I remember opening up the drawer and like realizing that I still had half of my beauty products that were probably still chemical based, that weren't all natural. And I took out the garbage can and I just threw them all out. And I minimalized what my beauty care looked like. I created simplicity. I don't need 10 lipsticks. I want one or two that are natural. I want products on my face and skin that I can eat and I know each ingredients. And so that was my first step of just really cleaning that up. Then my hair products, okay? I was grateful enough that I was working with an organic hair salon when I started to go through transition. And I got rid of all my unhealthy hair products and brought in a line called the Organic Color Systems from my organic hair salon. So then I was like, okay, I've got natural, and I was using less makeup too. You'll notice over the years, I've really, I can show up without makeup. Like today, I'm showing up and I just have from Beauty Counter, actually just something that is like more of a gloss, but I have no makeup on and I don't feel like I have to have makeup. I love myself in my natural form. And it took me a long time to get to this place because, of course, when you're going gray and you're going through this transition, you try to do other things to offset the uncomfortableness, right? Wearing more jewelry or earrings or putting more makeup on to kind of like bling you up. And once I settled into my natural hair color, I just tended to wear less makeup. The other thing I stopped doing is I used to be a nail biter all of my life. And I used to get my nails done after my divorce, and I would go in every 2 weeks and my nails would look perfect and I'd get the gels on them and all of that stuff. But looking into it, xenoestrogens is just another level of toxicity. So I got rid of that habit. Every once in a while, I will get my nails done for a special occasion, but it's not an everyday thing now that it used to be. Alcohol, I feel like a daily wine drinker at times. Especially when the pandemic happened, I found myself drinking a lot, getting back into old habits and routines. And again, alcohol, not great for health and wellness. That was another habit that I really rolled back and for a couple years, like took out 100%. And I have a drink occasionally if I feel like it. But I know that I'm in control. I know it's not a daily habit. And I'm just aware of, when I'm going to choose to do that. We got rid of a lot of our plastics. We now store our food in glass. Coffee, we moved from the plastic black coffee maker that we have in the house. We moved it to a French press, either glass or stainless steel. So that again, when you're heating up your coffee, and you're using the plastic pods and you're using the black plastic for the hot water to go in, it's like a triple, toxicity hit to your coffee. So if you're a coffee drinker, one of the quickest and fastest changes that you can do is clean up your coffee habit. Make sure that you're, getting organic coffee, chemical-free coffee, and that you are doing it so that it's not running through black plastic. And then, of course, looking at your cooking ware, right? A lot of our cooking ware today is very, very toxic, especially some of the Teflon products out there where it can leach into your food. So making sure that you're getting clean, cooking ware that, maybe it's stainless steel or maybe it's cast iron. There are different options up there that you can get online or in, higher end stores with. And you're going to spend money, but it will be worth it. These are just some of the things that I've done to kind of clean up. Perfumes got rid of. I haven't done perfumes in so long. It's probably one of the biggest chemical concoctions that you can put on your body. Even the hairspray. I think the average perfume has over 250 different, chemicals and toxins. Anything that you see when it says fragrance, if it isn't like an essential oil, I would say do not use it. Get rid of it. Cleaning products, we use Norwex in our house. We just need water. We use Young Living with their cleaning products, and we just put some of the Young Living cleaning in some water, and we have a squirt bottle, so that's with our floor or our counters. We use the Norwex cloths to clean, so we don't need any like standard Windex. So that was a big change. We got rid of our dry sheets in the laundry, and we use wool balls, and we just put essential oils on that. What else did we end up doing? The sunscreen, we make sure that we're using organic sunscreen or mineral based. It's so funny when I do sometimes put it on my face, I might like look like a ghost because some of the other chemical sprays that you put on your face or creams will melt in pretty good, where the mineral base will more stick to your skin. So just be aware of that. But I mean, again, it's trying to minimize, the chemicals that you put in your body. So I wanted to share this podcast with you to inspire you. Keep on following me on social media, The Gorgeous Gray Movement on Instagram. I keep on posting stuff about toxins. I post about menopause. As a lot of you ladies know, I am 52, going to be 53. I want this chapter to be my best. I really believe that menopause can be such a beautiful stage if we make sure that we're taking care of our body correctly and getting rid of xenoestrogens, reducing your load of xenoestrogens, know where they're coming through in your life, and we can control a lot of that, which is so important. And I want to keep on shouting out to the world. It's almost like my journey, and what I've learned I want to share with the world so that women can wake up and decide that, well, maybe my hair dye isn't the best option for me. Now, if you are not ready to go to your natural color, or you just don't like yourself and the way that you look, I get it. And I am so not here to judge you in any way, but I can also tell you that there are other healthy alternatives. So one of my dear friends, she does henna. That's what she uses with her dark hair, no chemicals. She uses organic henna. It is a little bit more work. You can also Google to see if there is a henna salon in your area. I know there's one in Ajax. She's in my book. I researched, I went down, I interviewed her, and she got really sick working in traditional hairdresser. And it took her 6 months to bring her health back. And the message for her was open up a salon that's toxic free. So beautiful soul. They are out there. I also have interviewed organic hair salons where I live. Interesting. I would always ask the question, like, why did you, shift into organic hair care, less chemicals? And there's usually a story there. And her story was, I got very sick. It's almost like that 10-year mark working, in a traditional hair salon, and the health starts to unfold, right? Poor health, autoimmune conditions. And so she was a nutritionist. So she said, I just couldn't do it anymore. So she got rid of her other salon and totally got a new location and opened it up. So it was more of a low toxic hair salon with beautiful hair products, and using products that are coming from like Europe and Australia, where there are companies out there that care, that there are companies out there that want to reduce the load to a woman's body, and they created beautiful, less chemical hair products, which is yay. Like, companies are listening. We still have a long ways to go, but they are out there. So again, if you're not ready, there are options. My whole message is, it's almost like swaps. Like, where can you swap one thing for another, right? So if you're not ready, to go to the hair dye, or to stop hair dye, can you swap out or change salons so that you are using a healthier product, right? It's the same with skincare. It's the same with body care. It's the same with even our food, right? Like, when we're purchasing food, we're sending a message to, the companies. It's like, I'm not buying your fake food. I'm not buying products with seed oil in it more. I'm demanding that, I'm going to spend my money over here. And if enough of us are waking up to, we want healthier food products without all the inflammatory ingredients, that's when they need to shift. So it's really up to us, I believe, as consumers to make sure when we are purchasing that we are purchasing based on our value system, what is important. And if you're on a tight budget, the great thing is that there are a lot of ways that you can make your own products very easily and very naturally. You just have to kind of search and get some clean recipes so that you can make your own laundry detergent, make your own cleaning supply, make your own soap to wash your hands. And I have a few friends that do that because it's so important to them, but they might be a little bit on, a tighter budget. So they decide to make it. So lots of options. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. I would love for you, if this resonated with you, to share it with somebody that really needs to hear this. My wish for every woman, especially heading into these changes, these perimenopause and menopause, is that we feel our best. And one of the easiest ways that we can start to feel our best is take the burden off of our body with the level of toxins that we can control. Thanks for tuning in. I want to say thank you for listening to today's episode. If this message landed for you, make sure to leave a review and tag me, Nicole Scott, at Gorgeous Grey Movement, and make sure to share with your friends. You can head over to my free Facebook community, Gorgeous Grey Movement, or subscribe to my YouTube channel for more inspiring interviews. If you are still struggling and need additional support, you can take a look at my website, nicolescott.ca, and learn more about my new Menopause Reset program that I'm so excited for. Until next time, ladies, be well and own your sparkle.